To all the people who see this like interview, just so they know, like I'm not high, drunk, sick. I'm jet lagged all the hell. So like me laying back like sleep. I ain't hot nodding. I ain't got the goddamn dope fiend lean. I'm motherfucking tired as shit, and I'm really sleepy, and I'm fighting this motherfucker, but I'm tired. So that's what it is.
Well, I know that at the time, I mean, I think I know that I had heard some of the first Little Brother stuff that was out there, which was just, you know, really the first couple of tracks that they had done. And for me, I was in the Netherlands at the time, and I just didn't really have the people around me to kind of get the sound that I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? And so by way of chance, we really came across each other, and it was, for me, it was kind of a way, especially when I first got the first vocals back for the first couple of tracks that we did, it was really kind of hitting the nail on the head of what I had always wanted to hear over my music, but I just never really found the people to do it. So in that sense, it was just really from track one, really, it was, I knew, you know, that there was something really special going on. The imprint is called Foreign Exchange Music, and what we really wanted to do with that is when our second album, Leave It All Behind, got really successful, we felt that it would be really the right moment for us to kind of pay that forward, and instead of just, you know, basking in our own success, but to really kind of share the spotlight and put some power behind people that we felt at the time needed to be heard. It was started just out of convenience. We needed something to release our own records, and as we go, we just really felt like we wanted to give that access to a few select people and just really put our weight behind it, sort of. And I think the Twitter thing, I mean, the thing that is good about it is that you have the power to reach people that you wouldn't have been able to reach in a classic. Just, you know, you can't get your records in every country in the world. That's simply impossible. But by way of Twitter, you can still reach all those people. But
140 characters or less.
Yeah, 140 characters or less.
Brief.
But there's a demand out there right now that everything needs to be direct, everything needs to be right now, everything needs to be available. So it's sometimes it's hard to kind of keep in that race, you know what I'm saying? And as long as you kind of keep, you know, an eye on what your own goals are, you know, it's like you don't need to get swept away with that. But I think a lot of people right now are more on Twitter than they're on the studio, probably, you know, and it's just like, I feel you, but, you know, I think ultimately you should never really get carried away with stuff like that. It's a great tool, it's a great means to an end, but it's not more than that, in my opinion, at least, you know what I'm saying?
But 360 deals. Don't do it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, unless you are just, you know, unless it's just something to the degree to where, you know, you are Madonna and you just fucking sell your soul for goddamn hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, you know, until it's to the point where it just creates just a windfall of cash, you know what I'm saying, for you, then it's really not worth it, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying.
But when we work with artists in a label kind of situation, we keep it super loose, you know what I'm saying? We help people, we strategize, you know what I'm saying? We do a lot, but at the end of the day, people are still responsible for their own moves, you know, and we would never want to limit, you know what I'm saying, the artists that we work with, like, because the very point is that we want to help them, you know what I'm saying? So we look, for us it's a free situation in the sense that, like, if somebody releases an album and it does incredible and another label wants to pick that up, we're not going to be like, well, you know, we need to have $5 million or something. That's kind of the point, you know, is for ultimately, hopefully, somebody to kind of leave the nest, if you will, and be able to make it on their own, because what we did with them was successful enough to help them kind of make that next thing. Yeah, kept them there. Yeah, so we're kind of it's a very transparent thing for us, you know. I gotta say Dylan #1, like I can't help it still. Prince is a close second as a producer. George Martin, the guy that did all the Beatles shit, just because at that moment in time, they were still inventing things. Like we're right now just basically just coasting along to all the shit that people have been inventing for 50 years, like how to record a drum kit. You know, we all know that. They had to find that shit out, you know what I'm saying? So I study producers like that because those, you know, those are really like people like Quincy Jones. Like, I mean, you know, those are the people that I really look up to and take a lot from. In terms of rappers right now, dude, like you know, I'd have to say probably Black Thought of the Roots is my favorite rapper, especially because a lot of other favorites kind of are in the Where Are They Now category. You know, like Common. I used to be a big Common fan, but I think over the years, like he's made more the transition into movies. Yeah, Most Def too. Like I think a lot of those cats when they saw that opportunity. But in all honesty, when it comes to hip hop specifically, I listen more to older stuff than new stuff. Like quite honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll probably find me listening to A Tribe Called Quest quicker than you find me listening to Lil Wayne. That's not a diss or anything. It's just kind of a taste thing. So when you ask me about favorite rappers, I'm more inclined to say somebody like Q-Tip or whoever. Than maybe somebody that like Drake, who is really big right now, you know what I'm saying? That's just my personal preference over the musical choices that I made. While all of them are great MCs, you know, I find myself kind of attracted to MCs that make certain choices in beats, or, you know, I think still Jay-Z is a fantastic MC. You know, so yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. I mean, in all reality, UK right now is our #2 country. Like it's before like stuff like Canada, before stuff like Germany, France, anything. And that's really I've always known that London had or the UK in general, but London obviously a very rich music culture, and I really like that we're doing something that appeals to people over here. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that for me, I've always been a very big fan of British music, you know what I'm saying? So to know that we can come here and do some shows and people to really appreciate that is a really big deal for me. Appreciate it. Peace.